All right, y'all. I posted a video 2 years ago. This Lucifer interview will send chills down your spine. The title was kind of wild. I'm not going to lie to you. I apologize for that. That was kind of crazy. But this interview itself, that's not Lucifer, right? That's a person with a mask on in a costume. Obviously, that's not Lucifer. But this video that we're about to watch might just be him in the flesh. It might. I'm going to let y'all decide. Brianna Whitney, reporter, went to prison, sat face to face, and interviewed a man who crucified a pastor for teaching that Jesus is God. Mind you, this is very important context. This man supposedly calls himself a Christian, and he's operating according to the Bible. And he had plans to off 12 other pastors. But fortunately, he was caught before he was able to carry out this plan. This is described as the most chilling jailhouse interview that they have ever done, according to Brianna Whitney. I'm going to press play. There's my disclaimer. All right, let's get to it.
Hi, Mr. Steve.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing? Did you kill Pastor Bill Shanneman?
Yes.
Why?
Because it's a long story, but to summarize it, Yahweh alone is God. It's the first commandment.
Hold on. I'm going to put this on normal. I'm just going to put this on normal speed. We normally watch on 125. We're just going to go to normal speed.
It's the most important commandment, but as it's a long story, but to summarize it, Yahweh alone is God. It's the first commandment. It's the most important commandment of them all. The preachers are, in my perspective, are leading the flocks astray. They're preaching that Jesus is God's only son and God also. That's not what God said. Very clearly, he said that he alone is God. It's the first commandment. And so with the belief that Jesus is the only Son of God and God, God's laws were annulled entirely. There's 13 tribes of Israel. So what I wanted to do was execute and crucify 13 priests and put one of the tribes of Israel in each of their right ears, which I did with this priest. I put the tribe of Benjamin. And then the 14th I wanted to do for Adam, because clearly Adam was God's one and only created son in his image, is the first story told in the Bible.
So you feel the difference is between regular people that believe in God and pastors or preachers, that there's a difference there?
Huge difference, because the first commandment is the most important commandment of them all. Drugs, the sanctity of marriage is completely eroded. It's vicious out there. Somebody like me who's been in and out of prison, you know, the prisons are flooded with drugs. And I'm thinking to myself, the world is a wreck, you know.
But if you're talking about sin, murder is a sin.
Well, yeah, it is a sin, but God also commanded us to execute anyone that's preaching that someone other than him is God, because it's that serious. They're claiming that Jesus is God and that somebody other than God is God. So what's this Jesus is only God's son garbage that I was raised to believe? That's not what God said.
So when did this plan come to fruition? You're thinking about this, you want to carry out this hit list?
Yes.
A hit list.
Sure.
14 pastors.
That's right. Around the nation, to surround the nation.
Starting in Arizona?
Starting in Arizona, where I was born. Where it starts is where it ends, like the Garden of Eden.
How did you pick out these pastors and these preachers?
I just let the Spirit follow me wherever I landed. And the first one where I went was Olive Street, the Church of Christ, and I thought, well, that makes sense. There shouldn't be a Church of Christ. There should only be a Church of Yahavah.
So you get to Phoenix.
I get to Phoenix. I just set up a tent under a tree on Olive Street, and I followed that priest home Sunday after Easter service. And when he pulled into his driveway, the two women came out of the garage. I'm not interested in executing anyone other than the pastors or the shepherds leading the flock astray. So then I said to myself, okay, I need to find pastors or priests that live alone. And so I set up another tent off of a Carefree Highway between 24th and 16th Street, and I was looking at those churches, and then I happened to stumble across the New River Church, and I followed him home, and I saw that he lived alone.
So you had no previous contact with Pastor Bill?
Zero. I
Zero.
didn't want any previous contact. My only criteria was you're breaking the first commandment.
Pastor Bill was innocent.
Innocent, in your perspective, there's nothing
But
worse.
not yours.
But there's nothing worse than breaking the first commandment. All you got to do is just worship Jesus and you go to heaven. Your sins are all forgiven. That's not what God said.
But do you think God was going to forgive your sins?
Absolutely, he'll forgive my sins. He's a forgiving God. He's a loving God.
How do you justify that? I mean, if you're somebody or multiple people attempted,
Okay, but
how does that work?
It's a commandment to rid Israel of evil.
You see Bill.
Yeah.
You follow him home.
That's right.
What happens next?
Then I follow him home. I see that he lives alone. All right. I go back to the house, or I go back to the desert where I'm camping. I need weapons, right? I need something to hit him with. So I go into a house. I walk to a house and go into it. There's no one living there. And I'm in Phoenix for the tribe Benjamin. It's the first tribe up. And there's a rifle under the bed that has painted on it, Phoenix Benjamin, which was a pellet gun. But I thought, Benjamin Phoenix, that's what I'm supposed to use. I don't know, it was just a crazy coincidence.
You're hiding outside.
I'm hiding outside the house. The helicopter's on top of me. We're maybe 5 blocks from the house because I ran through the mountain. Then I waited for the helicopter to leave. I've done this, I've been in and out of prison, so I know I ran the police probably 100 times in my life. So I leave, and then when I come back to the house later after all the police leave, my car, they confiscated, they took it, so now I don't have a vehicle. So I broke back into the house because I know there's a truck in the garage. I got the supplies I needed to do the and I drove from there to Bill's house, like 2 in the morning on a Sunday night, and I executed him. And then I crucified him by nailing him to the wall, screwing him to the wall. It's fast. I mean, it's, I didn't want it to be, I didn't want it to be a painful, I'm not trying to torture the guy, I just wanted to him quickly. So I just put my hand over his mouth.
What did you feel in that moment?
I'm executing a plan, and so in that moment, I wanted to make sure that he wasn't going to start breathing again. And then I took a stud finder, found the studs in the wall, and I had a power drill, and I put him in the cross position on the wall, and I screwed him. And then I had a crown of thorns I put on his head, and in a leather strap, I had hammered in the tribe of Benjamin in Hebrew letters, in large letters, and on the other side, I had the first commandment in Hebrew letters, that Yahavah alone is God. And I hung that from his right ear with a rusty piece of wire that I had through the leather strap that I already had pre-ready to go. Yeah. So I just punched it through his ear and hung it. So he's crucified against the wall with the image of Jesus, because what I'm saying is, what you're preaching is not what God said. It's the opposite of what God said.
Most people that would come into that scene, Bill's scene, would be
And this is a man in this moment of the interview who believes that he's going to heaven. I just needed to take a little break for a second. Okay, let's get back to it.
Horrified.
Sure,
Horrified.
that's right.
Were you feeling satisfied?
I wasn't, look, it's not in my heart to go around people. Look, he's my daddy. So, you're preaching somebody else is, his son that's not his son. Well, where's Jesus in the Bible?
But I know you also have a family. Bill has a family. Did you think about that at all?
No, I'm thinking about the families that are in utter destruction.
So he only believes in the Old Testament, I'm assuming. But it's interesting. Jesus is in the Old Testament also. Because he said, where's Jesus in the Bible? Well, Jesus clearly is in the New Testament, right? But Jesus is also in the Old Testament as well. This is so fascinating. Obviously, it's tragic that pastor lost his life in this way. I'm not trying to downplay the tragedy. But the way that this individual processes and thinks is very fascinating from the standpoint of your entire basis and belief system and why you do what you do is centered around a lie. And you have so much conviction in that lie to the point that you are willing to kill for that belief and conviction that you have. Wow.
By following these false teachings and not obeying.
Hold on. What did he say?
Family. Bill has a family. Did you think about that at all?
No, I'm thinking about the families that are in utter destruction, by following these false teachings and not obeying God and not giving our Creator the respect for giving families life to begin with.
Do you feel remorse for those who lost Bill as their family? Their father?
Well, no, because I lost, I lost he erased my daddy, he's saying that somebody other than my daddy's God. So do I feel remorse?
But your dad's alive.
Well, my human father's alive, but I don't think of him as my dad. I think of God as my dad.
When did that come about?
That came about 9 years ago.
Why 9 years ago? What happened?
A light shot through the ceiling of my cell and into me, and ever since then I see the Star of David.
Did you think you were going to get away with this?
I wasn't planning on getting away with it. I know who I am. God would never allow me to spend the rest of my life in jail, and he'll never allow anyone to execute me, which is why I said set the execution date right now. God would never, ever, ever sacrifice his son.
If you had 14 that you wanted to carry out,
That's right.
Wouldn't you have tried to get away with this, to try to carry out all 14?
Yeah, I did try to carry out all 14.
But obviously you got caught after the first one.
That's right.
If you had gotten away with Bill's, where were you going to go next?
That's where I got caught, was
Sedona.
In Sedona. That's why I had my tent. There was 2 priests, and I had both. I was going to do Ephraim and Tribe Manasseh were next. I had both of the leather tags made out, both of the thorn crowns.
Yeah, where'd you get a thorn crown?
In the desert, the trees with the thorns on them. I cut it and make a crown of thorns. I just, in a circle, So I had both of those priests as my target. I was en route of getting into the back of the car of the second priest, and an old lady got in front of me. I had lost my vehicle because I got in a high-speed chase with the police in the stolen truck in Sedona. I escaped. I ran up a mountain. I got away from all the cops. I hiked all the way back to my tent. And I was still, on target for those 2 priests. But I wanted my target so bad that I refused to leave, so I hiked all the way back, because the high-speed chase probably was 10 miles. It went for a while. I was going fast. I got back to my tent at like 3 in the morning, got up in the morning.
So had you not been caught, were you planning to the next day?
Yeah, I tried that day. I couldn't get into the back. Where the pastors or priest park is right in front of the Holy Cross. And so I thought, man, I gotta follow him home, but I lost the truck. So the reason why I got caught is because I was looking for a vehicle to steal to be able to follow him, which is why I triggered the alarm in that house and went into the garage, hoping there would be an extra vehicle. Had I had a vehicle, those two were done. They didn't have a chance in hell.
Your final priest was where you were baptized?
That's right.
Why was that church on your list? Was there a...
It's personal because I start in Phoenix, starts in the Garden of Eden, ends in the Garden of Eden. I start in Phoenix where I was born on this life, and I'm going to end in Phoenix where I was baptized, which I don't appreciate, when I was 3 years old by my parents. You know, I'm baptized in a belief that is completely false. And from there was Las Vegas, Nevada, Portland, Oregon, Seattle, Washington, Billings, Montana, Detroit, Michigan, New York, New York, Charlotte, North Carolina, Mobile, Alabama, Beaumont, Texas, and El Paso, Texas. Wow. So 4 of them are going to get hit in Arizona. So I was circling the United States.
How'd you pick those states?
Just to circle it.
So you have zero remorse for that.
Not only do I have zero remorse, I plan on fulfilling what I started. If my Father puts me in an authoritative position on this earth, I will execute every single priest and burn every church to the ground.
I mean, it's likely you'll be in prison for the rest of your life.
That's what you think. I want the death penalty because I want to show you you can't kill God's son. That whole story is BS.
So if you're given the death penalty, it's not likely you'll be executed quickly.
Well, I want it quickly so that we can get this show on the road and show exactly what I'm trying to do.
Would you want to be crucified?
Couldn't happen.
But is that
I
something
couldn't so much as dash my foot upon a stone. I mean, the cops, the dogs are coming at me. I saw my father had angels just direct them to the left, direct them to the right. Not one bit me.
How would you feel, though, if somebody crucified you?
Good luck trying. I have the plan to rid this earth of evil.
I mean, do you really think that this is normal?
I think these are the end times. These are the last days. I am the lion. I'm called evil, and the preacher preaching that someone other than God, the son of Satan, is God, is considered good. And so what did I do? I struck, because I'm everyone's oldest father, and daddy's going to strike.
Do you think you're a monster?
Do I think I'm a monster? No.
I mean, but it's a gruesome of another person. Most people would consider that monstrous.
Sure, of course they would.
But you don't think you are?
No, I see myself as more of like a saint. I mean, from your perspective, that's murder. Thou shalt not kill. That is one of the 10 commandments. But also God commands that if anybody is to preach that anyone other than him is God, we are to stone them to death. We are to execute them. And so I'm following that law. Did God ask me to do this? Absolutely not. I did it on my own because I got sick and tired and fed up.
You're cherry picking certain commandments to follow and not.
Sure.
How do you choose that and why?
Right. So it's difficult, right? Thou shalt not kill. That's a clear commandment. Also, there's a commandment that if somebody is preaching that somebody other than God is God, we are to execute them and rid evil of Israel. So I'm obeying that commandment.
So you're just choosing what works for you?
No, I'm choosing what God's commandments are. So yeah, you'd say, hey, on one hand, God is saying, thou shalt not kill, but on the other hand...
It's still picking what you think matters most in the commandments.
Well, then
it's not following thou shalt not kill, clearly.
Well, yeah, but...
Yo, she kind of standing on business, though. Face to face with a killer.
Thou shalt not kill is do not hold anger in your heart towards your brethren and strike them where they die. If somebody is breaking God's commandments, like, during the Sabbath.
You've interpreted this how you see fit.
That's how God, that's the way God commanded it.
I don't think God said, go pastors. He just didn't.
He didn't tell me to do that. Absolutely not. I did that on my own. But it is a commandment. It is in the Bible that if if anyone's preaching that somebody other than God is God, breaking the first commandment, the punishment for breaking the first commandment is death. You replace who my daddy is, I'm going to nail you to the wall.
That's brutal.
Well, life is brutal. Satan is brutal.
Life is brutal. Satan is brutal. Life is brutal. Satan is brutal. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. It's not like we needed a reveal, but there's the reveal. The mask is off. He said something He said something. I'm trying to remember what he said. Oh, he said it's the end times. He said we're living in the last days. Okay, cool. I mean, we can agree on something, but your obedience to God in the last days is to literally take life as opposed to preach about the one who gives life. But it makes sense if you don't believe in Jesus. And if you are literally controlled and ruled by Satan, what else could one expect? And he said that he's not going to be executed. Let's see what's going on with this dude specifically. What's going on with this case here? Oh, this was just recent then. This is very recent. Oh, that's a better shot. So Pastor Bill, New River Bible Church, was the victim in this case. Sheaf is 51 years old, obviously admitted to everything. He says he's okay with being crucified. He said, "I don't hate Christians. I'm after the pastors that are leading them astray," he said. I don't hate Christians. I'm after pastors who are leading them astray. He said, "I will apologize to his family. I'm sorry that they got caught in the crossfire. Will I apologize for my actions? Absolutely not. I'm defending my father," Sheaf said. "I'm defending my father." It's very interesting. You already know what I'm thinking, right? Do you know what verse I'm thinking? Put it in the comments. You know what verse I'm thinking. Put it in the comments. You got 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. John chapter 8. You are of your father the devil. They answered him, "Abraham is our father." Jesus said to them, "If you were Abraham's children, you would be doing the works Abraham did. But now you seek to kill me, a man who has told you the truth that I heard from God. That is not what Abraham did. You are doing the works of your father." They said to him, "We were not born of sexual immorality. We have one Father, even God." Jesus said to them, "If God were your father, you would love me." Can we read that again? "If God were your father, you would love me, for I came from God, and I am here. I came not of my own accord, but he sent me. Why do you not understand what I say? It is because you cannot bear to hear my word. You are of your father, the devil, and your will is to do your father's desires. He was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in the truth because there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks out of his own character, for he is a liar and the father of lies. But because I tell you the truth, you don't believe me. Which one of you convicts me of sin? If I tell the truth, Why don't you believe me? Whoever is of God hears the words of God. The reason why you do not hear them is that you are not from God. So this dude is talking about, oh, my Father is God, I serve God. Jesus is literally God in the flesh. And these are his words, right? What a story. Let me know what y'all think. Get in my comments, like this video. I'm out, y'all.